everybody. I'm Jack Midkiff, and I want to welcome you to my podcast. We are underway in 2023. Man, it has started good, started strong, and we're going to keep rocking, right? Right. So today, I want to talk about, now that we're in, you spent some time in December trying to figure out what your goals were, and you set some, the word just escapes me right now. You set some resolutions. That's the word. I don't really do that, so I guess that's why I couldn't remember what the word is. But I do set goals, and I do make a dream board. I do put things out there that I want to accomplish in 2023 or in every year. But so I hope that you have reached for the stars. I hope that you have set big goals, because you know what? We serve a big God, and greater is he that is within me than he that is in the world. So I pray that you have thought about what you want to accomplish in 2023. I hope that you have pushed yourself with your goals. And today I want to talk about that a little bit. I want to talk about setting and goals, but more than that, setting some healthy guidelines or healthy habits. Now, I'm not just talking about in your health. I'm just talking about some healthy habits, mentally, spiritually, and with your health as well. One thing, as I was kind of researching for this particular podcast, one thing that I found interesting is when I typed in about goals for the new year and health goals and good health habits, it was amazing to me that more than one source had on there, you should get up every morning and drink a full glass of water. I immediately, started thinking about that I probably don't drink enough water, and maybe you're in that same boat. But hey, it's a new year, so let's get started drinking enough water. So every morning, get up, and a glass of water, the way I understand it, is officially like 8 ounces. That's a full glass of water. So if you drink more than that, that's fine. And 8 ounces is really not that much, to be honest. I've got some big old glasses at home, and then I got some smaller glasses, and the smaller ones are actually 8 ounces. So 8 ounces is not a whole lot to drink first thing in the morning. But as I was reading about what water does for you and hydration does for you, it helps your organs, your internal organs, operate better and function better. And of course, that would make sense about kidneys and all that. But even other organs is talking about how hydration helps in those areas. And then it talking about skin, how your skin looks so much better and how you look younger if you stay hydrated. There again, my mind started wandering, and I started envisioning, some little scrawny person as they get older and real wrinkly, and I'm like, I don't want that, so bring on the water. I want to look my best. Vanity, maybe, but hey, we all got a little of it. Just have to keep it under control, right? So, but healthy habits to go into 2023, or as we have started 2023. One thing that I'm a dreamer. I felt like, and I've shared this testimony before. I feel like several years ago I went to God, and because I have a platform that I have the privilege of standing on and speaking into people's lives on a regular basis, and so I just was feeling a little bit depleted and felt like I wasn't happy, okay? I just wasn't fulfilled. And this now has been probably 10 years ago, probably more than that. And one thing that God reminded me of is I've been taught my whole life to dream and to reach for, the big things in life. And so I feel like the Lord spoke to me in that prayer that day and told me to encourage people to dream and dream big dreams. As a matter of fact, one of the things that we talk about in every church service where I get to pastor, it don't cost a bit more to dream big than it does little. And we should dream big because we serve a big God. I'm telling you, you should dream as big as you can dream. Although I also believe in setting attainable goals. Because there's one thing to dream big dreams. There's another thing just to think thoughts that you really don't believe in. See, I believe that you can attain anything that you desire, set your heart to, want to accomplish. But if you don't really want it, if you don't really believe it, like, do you believe you can lose as much weight as you have put on your dream board to lose this year? Do you believe that? Well, after you have that dream and you believe that dream, how are you going to set that? How are you going to accomplish that? Have you talked to a dietitian? Because you can exercise, but you cannot out-exercise. You cannot out-exercise, let me say it right, a bad diet. You have to get your food intake under control. You always have to have a caloric deficit during the day if you want to even maintain a healthy weight. So my point in that, I bring that up so much because just about everybody wants to lose a few pounds for the new year. Well, you can if you believe you can. And also you can if you set goals that are attainable. So, if you've decided that the only thing you're going to take out of your diet this year is one Reese cup a month, but yet you eat 10 Reese cups a month, your goal for losing 100 pounds this year may not be something attainable. I don't know. And another thing with that, is it healthy for you to reach the goal that you're desiring to reach? And that could be not just in weight, that could be in anything. Is the goal attainable? Is it healthy for you? And do we need to even say, is it God's will? Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and then all these things will be added unto you. Well, first of all, I believe that you can find confirmation in the Word, or you can get stopped by the Word concerning any subject. Because I believe that God has a plan individually for each one of us. So one of the first things I would say is set an attainable goal. Not that you can't dream big. It might be a tenacious goal, but is it attainable? It might take so much extra work, but is it attainable? So if you can find that it's attainable, it might cause you to have to do some things and set some boundaries and some guidelines for your life that are not comfortable, but it can still be attainable. So one of the first things is set an attainable goal, and then keep track of your progress. Whenever the new year rolls around, I always encourage people that I know to use this Bible that we actually sell them in our bookstore. We don't make any money on them. It's not that we're trying to peddle something that we've produced. You can buy them anywhere. Go on Amazon and buy one as far as that goes. But they are 1-year reading Bibles. One of the main reasons that I believe in the 1-year reading Bible is that it helps you track your progress. So did you read yesterday? Well, did I read the Bible yesterday? Did I not? That 1-year reading Bible helps you keep track of that in any area of your life. One thing that I like to do when I have a goal to lose a few pounds, some people say, don't do that, don't do that. Well, maybe you shouldn't. But for me, it helps me so much that I weigh myself like every day. Now, some days I go, wow. Because, you don't like, if you're doing it in just a normal way, you don't like see, uh, weight loss every day that you step on the scale. Maybe one day you'll say, well, I'm down a pound or whatever, and then it might go 2-3 days and you don't see any progress. But for me, I have found when I'm trying to reach a certain goal, it helps me. It helps my discipline. It helps me to be motivated, whether that is through a little bit of aggravation because I look at it and I hadn't lost in a few days, and then I go, I shouldn't have eaten that. I'm going to have to pull back more on that. So keep track of your progress, whether you're reading, if you've got a goal at work, find a way to keep track of your progress. If you've got a goal with your family, keep track of your progress. Another thing that I would suggest in the new year is that I believe this is a healthy thing. And I've not always done this. And I don't even mean this bragging, but I've always been someone that, since I've been married, that, when LaDonna was here, before she went to heaven, that I wanted to make sure she was took care of with my kids. I put them first a lot of times. I'll make sure that they're taken care of. But one thing that's so healthy and that we need to do, I'm still learning how to do this, but I am doing it, is you got to take time for yourself. You got to make sure that you are finding time for you. If that is to sit down with me, a lot of times my therapy, my self-therapy is sitting down with a guitar, learning a new riff, or singing a song, or sitting down at the piano, or messing with my old truck. Or I love to do things like that. So take time for you. That's not selfish. That's not putting others back. But that is, if you don't take care of you, you're not going to be able to take care of someone else. So make sure that you do that in the new year. Another thing is, this is easier if you're married or if you have, a boyfriend, girlfriend. This is easier but find an accountability partner. Have somebody, if it's working out, have a workout buddy. If you're doing a task or something, it's always, I think, healthy to have someone in your life to help keep you motivated, help keep you accountable, help keep you on track. Now, that's not always fun, and we don't like that, especially if it's things that that we're trying to get better on. The last thing we want is somebody going, you got to pick the right person, but it's always good to have somebody in your life to that you trust. And let me say that. I about left that part out. Let me say that you trust, that can help hold you accountable. That Jesus sent people out in twos. There's a reason for that, I believe, because it just helps us. Here's something that I would also encourage you to do, and this is easier for younger people. It's not so easy sometimes for those of us that have been around the sun a few times, and that is to adopt new mindsets. That doesn't mean you discount or push away everything that you've ever known. But life is very progressive, right? Life goes on. It never stops. You're aging every moment of your life. When I was given music lessons at one time in my life, I would always try to get the folks that I was trying to help learn, I would always say, if you make a mistake, just keep going, and then when it circles back around, you'll hit it the next time. But when you're playing a song and you make a mistake, once that beat is played, once that note is played or missed, unless you're in a recording session where you can go back and overdub, that note you just missed it, Well, life is like that a lot. Sometimes we want do-overs, and we want to be able to fix things and all. Sometimes you just absolutely have to adopt a new mindset. You can't go back all the time. You can't keep living in the past, so to speak. One of the biggest deficits I believe that older people hand themselves is that we always try to relive the past. We always try, as human beings, we have a great experience and we always want to redo that. It's great when you can. It's great when you can re-experience. I don't even know if that's the right terminology, but it's wonderful when we can do that. But life is progressive. Listen, life is not the same as it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. No matter what you're doing, Jesus never changes. So before anybody goes, pseudo-religious on me, that ain't what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a new gospel. I'm not talking about, matter of fact, I'm not even talking about church right now. I'm talking about life. I know I'm a spirit. I live in a body. I possess a soul, and all of it's together. But just stay with me. I'm talking about the things that we do in our relationships with people, the way that we approach society. Society is ever changing. Views, laws, what used to be considered wrong is not wrong anymore in some people's eyes. So we always have to be pliable, because when you get stiff and you go, I'm not changing, sometimes that's when we break, right? And we don't want to do that. Another thing going into the new year, move. Move your body. Maybe you don't have on your dream board, your goal list, you don't have your resolution. None of that has to do with exercise. Okay, that's your prerogative. But move. Take a little walk. Man, it will clear your mind just to get outside. If it's just around your house, around the block, up the sidewalk, get outside, take a walk. If it's too cold or rainy one day, walk somewhere else, but move your body. Now, if you're into exercise, set some pretty lofty goals for yourself. Don't let yourself off easy, right? Accomplish some things. Another goal that I challenge you to do, eat cleaner this year. Figure out how you can eat healthier this year. You don't have to be extreme. I personally, I live a pretty extreme, I guess you could say, a fairly extreme lifestyle when it comes to my eating. I don't try to push it off on anybody else. I don't try to get anybody else to do it if they don't want to do it. My children, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I don't push them to do this, but for the most part, I eat plant-based. I don't eat meat. It's a personal choice. I don't do a lot of dairy. Sometimes I, will, if I'm going to cheat, so to speak, in the plant-based lifestyle, it'll be in the dairy area. But eat healthier. You can eat whatever you want to. That's your choice, obviously. But try to eat healthier. We've got a family friend that you can put a piece of lettuce in her mouth, and it's just not a pretty sight. Well, it's a funny sight, but it's not a pretty. She don't like it. So if you're maybe that kind of person that just don't like green stuff, find a way to eat healthier. I think one good word for eating in this new year might be moderation. What about that? That's a good word. This is something that I have really, this next one is something that I'm just going to admit to you, I've really struggled with in my life. I still have a challenge for this, and it's prioritizing your sleep. I do believe it's important to get enough rest. I do. But man, I'm like, golly, there's just so many things I could be doing instead of sleeping. Somebody says, we will rest when we die. Well, but if we don't rest now, we might die a little earlier than we have to. So I would really encourage it. That's another one of those things, quite frankly, that really amazed me when I started looking into things to talk about in this podcast. When I started looking at facts and things, there was two things that kept popping up. One, drink the water a full glass of water every morning when you wake up. The next thing was get enough rest, get enough sleep. So, you know what? As you get into this new year, we're just getting good and started. And but as you do, make some goals. Set some. I'm gonna even challenge you to challenge you. Challenge yourself. Don't just go along with, sometimes I would never, and as we're recording this, I'm 53 years old, and I'm as healthy as I've ever been, probably in better shape than I've ever been. And the reason is, if my body says, hey, I listen, right? If I am doing something and I have a shoulder pain or a knee pain, I don't keep putting unneeded pressure or unneeded work on that. I give it time to heal. So I believe in doing things the right way. I really do. But I also know that your body is God created you to be strong. And so sometimes we could push ourselves a little more than we do. And even getting along with people. Why don't you put some pressure on yourself this year to be more pliable in your opinions? Have you ever met somebody that you can't tell them nothing? Well, guess what? I don't believe any of us have the right to think we know everything. Not a one of us. So push yourself this year in areas that you know. Because if you've lived very long, you've found, if you are a know-it-all, you have felt some resistance in that area. So if you felt that in your life, it's never too late to get better. 2023 will be better when you set your mindset to be better. Because I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. The word says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And I'm just going to tell you, in 2023, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to be whole. I'm going to have money. I believe that. Now, I can say that all day long. If I don't have a plan to get there, it won't just happen on it, because we live in this world that is full of oppression, anxiety. This world is full of opposition to our joy. And someone once said, I heard somebody say recently, that God never promised happy. Okay, but he said he'd give you joy, right? The joy of the Lord is your strength, right? So you have the strength to make the right decisions that produces happy in your life. No, I'm going to be successful whether I'm happy or not. I don't have to be happy. So don't, well, I'm about to get aggravated, right? No, I'm not. I'm getting excited. Don't come at me with these things. Well, you don't have to be happy. Happy's good. Ain't nothing wrong with being happy. I've had plenty of days not happy, okay? I could tell you all, what's the purpose of going through all that? It might be one of them mindsets you got to change. I don't know. So 2023 is going to be a great year. I'm so happy to be a part of your life. I'm happy you're a part of my life. Follow me on all the socials and share this podcast with somebody. And I'll see you next time on the Jack Midkiff Podcast. Have a great one.